Verity, welcome. Glad to have our participants, guests, and presenters today for a conversation about friendship and friends in crisis. It's hard enough to maintain relationships in normal times, and I think that's something that adults struggle with often just because our lives are busy and focused on kids and life and work and all the other things. But when a friend or you have a challenge in your life that relates to a child's medical condition, it can certainly add more difficulty into friendships. So today we've got Marianne Fithian and Jeni Sobbry, who are friends from high school, who have maintained that relationship for a long time in the midst of challenges and highs and lows. So we're excited to have them join us. We want to encourage your participation today. Feel free to jump in, ask a question. And without further ado, Marianne and Jeni.
Thank you. Yay. Okay, Jeni just to do the heavy lifting and work the PowerPoint presentation because I'm not very good at that. But so we're going to look at why friendships are important. And I know that I have 3 medical moms who have texted me today to say, hey, we're at the hospital during your session, but we really need this because our friendships are hurting and we want to hear what you have to say. So I'm excited for them. I know they're joining us after the fact, but I'm excited for them to hear some of this information because I can tell you going through face illness, it's been hard to navigate friendships. I think that I was always really good at friendships when I was younger because I'm really social, or I was really social and outgoing, and I like to always be doing things with my friends. And then Faith got sick and it really changed who I was. So we're first going to take a look at why friendships are important. One of the biggest things that friendships do is they increase your sense of belonging and purpose. Hi there, thanks for joining. They boost your happiness and reduce your stress. And I think that is, in my opinion, what friends do the best. They improve your self-confidence and self-worth. Important for us families, they help you cope with traumas such as divorce, serious illness, job loss, or death of a loved one. And they encourage you to take a look at unhealthy lifestyle habits. And this is my least favorite thing that Jeni does for me is she'll say, what are you doing to take care of you right now? Which is a little annoying, but I know it's also very, very necessary.
I would disagree though. I would say that the best thing I do for you is get you out and get you out of your head. And
okay, she might be right there. That's kind of her job. Like she's supposed to. It's funny because it's always the rule. We're not talking tonight. And we always start off that way and we always laugh and have a really great time. And then 2 hours into the night, we're talking about everything. And it's weird how it's always the same. It always happens that way, that we go in with intentionally not having any serious conversation and end with a lot of serious conversation. So. All right, can you go to the next slide, please?
Sure thing.
Okay, so this is the big thing. And the number one thing when I have met with my support group people in my parenting groups that I do, in the stuff I do here at North Star Reach, every single one of them says we have so few friends that weather the storm of their child's illness. And that's mostly with kids with chronic illnesses. I think that lots of times a kid gets cancer and is sick for a short period of time and they either get better or they don't. And the community surrounds them and they have more support than they've ever had before. People with chronic illness or kids with chronic illness, lots of times what happens is it's such a long journey that lots of friendships fail. And when we talk in a second about why friendships fail, it makes a lot of sense that friendships of families with chronically ill children fail. And I've always looked at it, when I say it, before I was prepared for this session, I always looked at it as people just give up. They give up on you. It's just too much because mean, if you've ever had a friend that's full of drama and you're like, I just can't handle any more drama. My whole thought is these people get sick of our drama. They get sick of what is happening. But when you take a closer look at why friendships fail, it's really the nature of the disease process and the illness that I think is what makes them fail. It isn't necessarily that people get sick of you. So the number one thing is people stop communicating. And I don't know, Jeni, how many times have I talked to you since March, since COVID?
Not very many.
not including today or yesterday.
Maybe twice.
Yeah, I think so. So like people stop communicating. Jeni is, she gets me the most of my friends. She knows that if I'm not talking, it's because I don't want to talk, that I'm pretty good about talking when I feel like I can. But lately, truthfully, right now, it's just because life is so insane. Like I'm working a ton and I've got a lot going on, but I have had friends that have stayed active in my life that I've completely stopped communicating with in the last 9 months. And I think it's just of friendships. Sometimes you just stop communicating with people.
Yeah, I think, Marianne, too, I think that sometimes it's not that those friendships go away. Those friendships might actually really still be there and can still be reunited. And, you know, because I think that relationships ebb and flow, you know, sometimes it could be that, you know, like this last year, I would say that it's unusual that you and I don't talk. We've talked even less in this last year, but it's because of things that have been going on in my life as well. And so, but we have this bond that friendship won't ever go away, even if we aren't communicating all the time.
Yeah.
So knowing that about certain people in your life, I think is important.
About some friendships. I think that I have another friend who I'm very social with that I haven't been able to see or talk to because of COVID. And I'm not sure that friendship would weather the storm, honestly, because I think it really depends on the situation. People outgrow friendships. And I think this is a huge one with families like ours, because somebody in one of the sessions this morning said, when your kid gets sick, you realize who your real friends are. I also feel like you realize who can handle it. You realize what friendships are built on mutual, like, I have friends that can't handle it. I know that I have friends that I can't talk to about my daughter's illness. You know, there's the people that just want to make everything better and they say the most ridiculous things to you. And you learn pretty quickly that, you know what, not everybody can handle this type of friendship. But I do think that happens with everybody, not just parents of sick kids. I think that a lot of times, like, you go to college, you have your college friends, and you grow up, and then you leave college, and then you have new friends. And so I do think you do outgrow friendships. It's funny because Steph and I have been friends for, I don't know, a while. Jeni and I tend to have a small group, but there are people that I stay pretty close with. And then I have my medical mom friends, which I kind of consider a different kind of friend, because we had last night, one of them, 3 a.m. She's like, I hate doing this to you, but yesterday brought up so much stuff for me and I can't sleep and I just need to say this to somebody. And she typed me this big long text, and that's kind of, and I imagine that she's not somebody I'll be friends with forever. But right now, when we are both struggling with sick kids, I think we have a good match. Only one friend makes an effort. We all have that, right? Like the one friend that like never reaches out to you. here's the deal. Like when you're one of us, when you're a parent to a sick kid, we're not good at reaching out to people. I think of all of the things that I have to do for Faith that normal parents don't have to do for their kids, whether it's ostomy care or Broviac care or changing out her tubes, or, you know, there's like so many steps that we do to keep our kids healthy. Right now, it's this hydration mess that we're in with Faith, that on top of my normal life that everybody has, I then layer in all these things. And when I say there's not time in the day, it isn't that I don't think about calling Jeni or, you know, getting together. I just think the amount of hours in the day, there's more urgent stuff that I have to do first. And part of it right now, I think, is making sure people that I care about know, because I do think it's really hard for friends like us to make the effort sometimes.
Well, and I think too, Marianne, I think that I know that I might call and call and call and call and not get an answer, and I don't take offense to that.
That's so good.
And when that happens, then I text, and I become annoying through text. Yeah. But sometimes when I call and I don't get an answer, I might give up for a little while, but I come back.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that I know that, you know, for instance, I've known this summer that you've been super busy. I'm learning there's other things too going on, but it's that, I mean, I think through us knowing each other for as long as we have, getting to know that that's how you operate. I mean, I've had to learn that about you through the years, because you always ignored my calls.
No, I haven't always been this way. Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it's, you know, sometimes I do have to step back and I go, okay, maybe she's just not ready yet.
Yeah.
But you know, I think it's knowing, we both know that we can reach out even though.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I said it in a session yesterday. I don't know if you were at the session, but like Faith almost died this summer and it messed me up. And I love that my work friends know that they're not supposed to talk to me about it, because I don't want to talk about it yet. And only Will and I have talked about it. Faith and I have touched a teeny bit, because she reminded me that when she was in the resuscitation room, that she said, if I don't die, can I get a kitty? And I said, yes. So of course we got her kitty. But I don't want to talk about it. And I think I know the minute you get me alone, you're going to make me talk.
Yeah, well.
I know that's what will happen. I just know it.
Yeah, you start it. You ask the questions, and then we get deeper into the conversation, and eventually.
Whatever. She has this ability to suck things out of me. It drives me insane. And then, of course, friendships fail because there are fair weather friends. And with really difficult diagnosis in a kid that never gets better, it's hard to weather that storm with people. And it's emotional, and it's a ton of work, and it's heartbreaking. You know, like I have a mom right now that I'm good friends with, and her daughter's been dying of cancer for the last 10 years. And Faith is friends with the little girl. And I have to literally force myself once a week to reach out, because it's so painful. Like every time I talk to her, I get off the phone and I feel sick to my stomach, because it's just so painful. So sometimes the fair weather friend thing makes sense to me, because it is a lot to handle, being supportive to some families. It really is. So, all right, Jeni, can you move to the next slide?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that though still, Marianne.
That's fine.
I just, you know, I guess I know that friends kind of come and go, but I do feel like I haven't always been a great friend to you through this. I mean, like, I don't always know what to do, and I'm not always there, and I'm not, you know, but we come back to things. So I guess I feel like sometimes there are certain friends for certain things, and sometimes there are people that come into our lives that are really only meant to be there for a little while, you know, like
friendships.
Right. And I think sometimes you have to flip that perspective in your head and remember that it might not be that they don't care. Like, I have several friends that I haven't talked to in years that I still care about, but that was a different time when we were close, you know. And if that person called me today, absolutely, I would still want to be their friend.
Yeah, I think it's that, and in the next slide, you'll see that we talk about, like, you have to figure out what kind of friendships you need for what situations, and it's different, and that is a challenge. Okay, so like, what can you do? Like, how can you build friendships with the situation we're in? Because it's not easy. I don't think it's easy for anyone to make friends as adults. I think that a lot of times people maintain this friendships they've had forever, and we're all growing and changing so much as adults. It's strange to me that as adults, we don't find new friends. NPR just did this big series. They did a study with some university on the West Coast about adults making friendships in the ages 40 and up, and how hard it is. And so it was so interesting to me that, like, the study was that it's impossible, because I'm thinking so many of my medical mom friends feel bad about the fact that they don't have that friendship support and they can't find new friends with the situation they're in. But it sounds like it's across the board. It's not just medical moms that have a hard time making friends. Okay, so what can we do? The biggest thing is, with your friends, decide who you can trust. I would never go to my friend Sherry for the same thing I would go to my friend Jeni for. And it is that I have different levels of trust with my friend Sherry than I do my friend Jeni. And you're going to definitely learn that in friendships, you trust different people with different kinds of information. And I think the best way that I can put it is, in my workplace, I have somebody who is she's great with technology. She's amazing. And if I need to learn how to do something with my computer or a spreadsheet, I can go to her, and she's the perfect person for me to talk to. But if I need an idea of an icebreaker, I have to go to a totally different person. So I trust them both, but I trust them with different things. And friendships are no different. You really have to figure out who you trust and what you trust them with. Now, in the beginning of Faith's illness, when she was 7 years, so this is 3 years into her diagnosis, she had a really yucky surgery. She had to have a new colostomy. They were removing the rest of her colon. They had to remove the artery that ran through her stomach, which is a dangerous surgery. And I was a mess. Like, I was a total mess. And the lady from, I don't know, she was a social worker, came in, and she's like, I was always there by myself with Faith. It just was the way it was, because if it was me and then my ex-husband. And she was probably on precautions, is my guess, so we couldn't have visitors. I'm not sure, but she said, don't you have friends? Don't you have anyone you can call? She said, you're a mess. And I thought, ugh. And she's like, who are your friends? And I couldn't think of any of my friends' names. I literally couldn't think. I'm like, I don't think I have friends. And I sat with her for a half hour, and I couldn't think of anyone. So I go back in the room, and I'm talking to Faith, and I said, Faith, do I have friends? And she's like, yeah, Jeni B. And I was like, oh yeah, Jeni. I forgot about Jeni. Yeah, I have Jeni. I'm gonna go find this lady. So I was like running down the room looking for the social worker. And I was so embarrassed I couldn't find her because I wanted to say to her, I really have a friend. This is her name. So I decided that I was going to put a sticky note on the wall of our hospital room. And on that sticky note, I put Jeni, and next to Jeni's name, I wrote anything, meaning I could call her about anything. And then I put my Regina, and Regina would bring me coffee. So I wrote coffee. And then I wrote, I can't remember, there were 4 names on there. Nicole, whatever Faith needs. There was one more name. And honestly, now I can't even remember. Barbara, to talk to Faith. Barbara can talk to Faith. That's what I wrote. And I kept that sticky note. It was inside my phone case, and I would take it with me and stick it on the wall when we were in the hospital. Because for some reason, when I was home, I think my husband used to remind me who my friends were when I was home. So like I remembered then, but I literally couldn't remember who my friends were. And I wasn't taking any like medications to like calm myself. You know, I wasn't on drugs or anything. I just literally couldn't even hold that knowledge. And what's interesting is now, after meeting with the therapist that my kid sees, she like says, figure out what you can count on your friends for. And that's literally what I had done, like just naturally. So I think figuring out who you trust and what you trust them with, because you're not going to trust everybody with everything. Jeni, do you have anything there?
No, I absolutely agree.
Okay. All right. The next thing is deciding to make an effort. Okay, so this is kind of weird because you don't always have the time to make an effort to be a good friend. But making an effort to maintain friendships is really important. And I think that I know when I'm doing bad, like I might be doing well professionally, or I might be doing well with my kids, but I know when I'm doing bad personally, when I make 0 effort with my friends, because I know that I'm having such a hard time. I just want to like not go there. So, but deciding to make an effort is a great idea for when, you know, like just coming out of this and saying, okay, part of my self-care is that I'm going to decide to make an effort with my friends. And once I started learning more about self-care and taking care of myself, I would have it on a board I have in my bedroom. It's like a flip chart, of course. And it says once a week, call Jeni, call Barbara. Now I haven't done this in a long time now, but so, I mean, I literally put it as a to-do on my to-do list. And I'm sure that maybe normal people don't have to do that, or people that aren't dealing with all this, but I had to decide to make an effort.
Marianna, do you also, when you say decide to make an effort, I think that the idea of putting yourself in situations like in a support group or in a place of where people, you feel like it's a safe place to make friendships is also, you mean, like you have to intentionally and consciously do that because that takes effort too.
Yeah, I think that the support groups that I'm doing with North Star Reach, it's funny because I kind of went into them thinking, this is part of my job. You know, this isn't for me. And I left my first support group thinking, that was awesome. Like that was so beneficial for me. And I think that is a great thing, that they can be so helpful. And I'm seeing that with a lot of our families. They're saying that they've been really, really helpful.
And I get, because I think what you said that sparked that thought was at this stage in life, it's harder to make friends. And so for me, you know, I'm single at this point. To meet people and to find people of same interests, I have to be intentional and go out to do that and search those things out. They're not coming to me. So
yeah,
it's kind of similar.
It is actually. So this is like, okay, Jeni might remember this. Tell your friends that they're part of your bunch or tribe. Now, this is something that in therapy, for dealing with all of the stuff we deal with, they'll tell you, you should do literally. You should say to your people, you are part of my tribe. You're part of my bunch. And I called my friends to dinner that were part of my tribe. Do you remember this, Jeni?
Yes.
It's so embarrassing. Now I look back at it, I'm like, what was I thinking? And I like gave them a list of like, I wrote down a list of why they were a part of my tribe and why I wanted them to be in my tribe. And I don't, you know, it doesn't need to be that formal. I think that I wanted, especially Jeni, to know that I was making a conscientious effort to take care of myself and to start dealing with all of this stuff. So I felt like if they saw me take it so seriously, of the people in that meeting, I'm so close with one of them. So it's not like it might have backfired a little bit.
But Marianne, again, I would tell you that's not true. There are a couple people that were there. What happened is that I think the intention was hoping that we could become a tribe and kind of come around, you know, surround you. But what I think you realized probably from that was that your friends are very different, and your friends are come to you. You have different friends for different things, and those friends don't necessarily mesh.
No, it was interesting. So one of them is like a science, like a breast cancer doctor, and one of them is a kind of obnoxious like mom that says way inappropriate things. Like she rubs me the wrong way. I've learned to respect her, and like she's a fun time, but I only bring her around certain people. And those two people in the same room were kind of like, it was a disaster. I was like, did I really put this group together? Like, did I actually think these people could? Because, you know, she kept saying to me, she's so crass. I can't believe you're friends with her. She's so crass. And I was like, yeah, you know, I like everybody. And I just kept looking at Jeni across the table, like, help, get me out of here. What was I thinking?
But Marianne, the sentiment behind it was amazing. And I think that it was meaningful, the thought and effort you put into it for all of us individually, even if it didn't work out as a group.
Okay, so yeah, so that's kind of the thing. Like, I feel like making sure you tell your friends that they're a part, like I am constantly telling even my work friends, like my daughter calls Patrick my work BFF, you know, and I constantly am letting people know that how much I rely on their friendship or their partnerships, because it's so important that we can maintain those. And I might not be good at showing it because I feel like sometimes our brains are so filled with our medicines and the kids' diagnosis and what we have to do to make sure they're okay. Like during this talk, Faith has sent me 4 pictures of a rash she has, saying, do we need to do something about this? You know, like it's constant. Like we're constantly dealing with our kids' medical issues. It's really hard to make sure you're communicating. So coming right out with, you're a part of my tribe, is a good idea. Now, maybe not taking them all out to dinner together and forming a literal tribe, but knowing who your people are, who your bunch is really important. Okay, so this is the biggest thing I can tell you. Reach out when you're doing well. So it's so true that our good times can be very few and far between. Like I feel like between my daughter's illness, I would say she has 15 good days a month. And my son's response to her illness, Will's just like me. He does amazing when Faith is doing bad. But when she's doing good, it's when he breaks down. So of those 15 days a month, there's probably 10 that Will's doing bad. So it gives me 5 days a month where things are good. And in those 5 days, lots of times I'm a mess, or my mom's a mess, or my husband's a mess. But whenever there are good days, trying to reach out, it's so hard to want to, because when I'm doing good, reaching out to the people that are going to ask me how things have been makes me a mess. But even if it's reaching out quickly on the days you're doing good, it's really important.
And answer your phone even when you don't want to. Not every time, but and I would say, I mean, and Marianne, this isn't just for you. I mean, this is everybody. I think sometimes it's the going out when we can, when you don't feel like it, making yourself do it. Because, I mean, I think you would say that you always feel better after we go out.
Always.
But a lot of times, how often do you not want to go when?
I never want to go.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever wanted to go.
Right.
I like seeing you, but I don't want to go. I have people that just show up in my life. That helps. They just say, hey, we're doing this, or I'm calling you, or I need to talk to you. My one girlfriend who lives in Florida, she'll call 6 times in a row until I pick up the phone. And then by then I'm so mad at her, and she does it on purpose. She's like, just don't ignore me. Just, are you okay? Okay, great. Bye. And she'll hang up. And she gets mad back at me, which is funny because I don't like it, but I pick up the phone more often with her because she gets mad. So I'm not telling you to get mad at me, Jeni. Please don't. And finally, ask for grace. I don't do this, and I should, but like making sure your people know that, I mean, like physically saying, I'm sorry that this is how I am, and know that your calls mean everything to me and your friendship means everything to me. I just, I'm in a bad spot. And I really look forward to the day that my life doesn't feel so like overwhelming, and I can actually feel like I can give more. I do. I look forward to that. And I feel like I love my people so fiercely. I do. There's my friendship and my bunch and my people, I do love so much, but I always feel like, I almost feel like our friendships can make me feel inadequate as well, because there's, like, I feel like I miss the mark for Will all the time because I'm constantly taking care of Faith. And I think sometimes my friendships can make me feel bad because I feel like I don't have enough to give. And so sometimes I feel like I avoid friendships because of that. And I know that's probably not healthy either.
Which I think that you have done so much for me as a friend as well. You have been my rock through so many things. And I think that sometimes that you forget that you're just as important to those people as they are to you.
Well, yeah, I think that's for sure, because I think we're so caught up with ourselves that we forget that.
Yeah. And I would say, tell people what you need, because I don't know. And I'm bad. I'm a terrible, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should bring food. I don't know if I should be there. I don't know if I should call. I don't know if you want to talk.
Yeah.
I don't know. And
it would be a great thing to do to people, like that. Because I can't tell people what I need, I feel like I don't put people in a great position. But I feel like I have friends that do, like Stephanie is constantly sending, she'll send my kids cookies, or she'll send me a gift card to take them to get food, or she'll drop off Diet Coke at the hospital. And Jeni's constantly, but Stephanie knows to not call me. She does not call my phone. She knows not to call me. Jeni calls and texts and says, I'm just texting. I know you're not going to respond. I'm just texting. I know you're not going to respond. So my people know my game.
Well, no, but I don't know if that's true though, Marianne, because I don't know your game. I still don't know what you need. After all these years, I still don't know what you need. And
because I don't know what I need. I mean, how can I, I don't know, whatever's going to make it not hurt so bad,
Yeah,
and
but random, I think you try to take care of everybody else. And those, like, I love when you randomly say, like, I would love something from Zingerman's, like a pastry, like, but like anything makes me feel like so much better about, because I feel so helpless in those situations where I can't, there's nothing I can do, and I'm sitting and I don't want to ask questions because I know you'll tell me when you're ready to tell me. But so any kind of guidance to those people that you trust makes them feel like they can be there for you.
I think what's interesting that you say that is one of the things that, so Kathy Prout, again, who's gonna join this conversation recorded, she says to me yesterday at one of the panels, she's like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I need. And that's the reality. Like, we are so, like, you become so used to taking care of your child. And now you guys both have pretty healthy kids, and you think about how hard it, like how much your identity becomes being a parent. Like, literally, chances, baseball, like you literally revolve around your children's identities. When you feel like you're keeping your kid alive, which I think most parents of chronically ill children kind of feel like, it's my job. Like, I got to keep her alive, even though I probably know technically that's not the case, but I am who provides her treatments. It isn't that I don't know, I don't have time to even think about who I am. So when you don't know who you are, you have no idea what you need. And like, the best, you know, I need Diet Coke. That's what I need most of the time. And like, it's so silly, but like, I need coffee, I need Diet Coke. That's all I can think of, because most of the time I'm so overwhelmed. I need time. I need time to think about what happened. I still have not processed this summer. Will's starting to process it, so I know it's coming soon, but you know, sometimes I don't think we know what we need. And that's part of the problem. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So Marianne, we're at about quarter till, and want to just give a quick time check. Although it was interesting, a couple of things you've made me think about. It's almost like when you get a new diagnosis, there needs to be kind of a friendship guide of, so this is what's going to potentially change, and knowing it's not true for everyone, but it just made me think a little bit about, you know, the tribe thing. I wish I could remember, it's like a book called Keep Sacred Ceremonies or something like that, but they do speak to that a lot, that we all do have tribes. And, you know, the Radha Agrawal book about belonging, I think, speaks to a lot of this. But it makes me think of what you did, I think was brilliant, in the idea, though, of coming in and saying, okay, so we all know that my life has changed. In some ways, it almost puts you in a place, as I think is often the case, where you have to almost take the first step, because people outside of that circle have no idea what to do or say, right? They don't know. And in some ways, it's getting out of yourself and going, I'm going to let you know what I need. Now, this may change tomorrow, but today, this is what I need. And it just made me think about, I love that idea of ceremony, because I think that's such a huge part of human relationships. My biggest question, though, listening, is what's the gender difference in all this? How women experience friendship versus men. And just thinking about, there's, I think, a very big difference probably in, even though at the core, there are probably some very similar things, but how you go about that process. I don't know, just you made me think about that.
Well, because Dennis doesn't avoid his friendships at all, but they have no idea what's happening with Faith, none. Like, he'll say, she's doing great. He talked to one of his friends on the phone right after we got discharged this summer, and he's like, how's Faith? She's great. And I'm thinking, what?
Gosh, Marianne, that makes me just like think, that makes me feel like I wish I could encourage so many people to join your support groups at North Star Reach and go to family camps and do all of that, because I think it's a place where you do feel like you're part of something and part of a tribe, and I think that it's a place that allows for open conversations that you might not be able to talk about with other, especially for men, I would think.
Yeah.
That it kind of puts you in a spot where those things come out and you get to experience those friendships.
Yeah, you need to do a dad's support group. Oh my gosh, why didn't we think about that? How did we forget that?
Because we're dads and we don't like to talk about it.
Well, that's why I was saying moms and dads come together, because then dads get kind of stuck in there.
Yeah, you totally, because dads aren't going to sign up. You watch. It's so hard to get moms to sign up because you think it's going to be not great, but it's great.
But it's great at family camp seeing dads connect with one another.
Yeah, I agree.
So
yeah, I love the dads at family camp. They're like my favorite people. And listening to them talk, I'm always like, because they're so, I think the dads are the most moving, honestly. So it's hard to get their faces though. Okay. Yeah, that's the last slide, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think so.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, cute. Okay. Where do you find your tribe? Okay. Other medical moms. Great to make friends with other medical moms because we get it. And you don't have to do any of the back talk. Not medical moms are really important because they'll help keep you grounded and remind you what real life is feeling like. So look for the helpers. That's like one of my favorite things. I don't know who said that. Somebody.
Fred Rogers.
Yeah, look for the helpers. People are constantly going to offer to help, and you think, oh, that's so nice. They're just trying to make themselves feel better. That's not the case. My helpers, Stephanie was always somebody that was like a fringe person in my life that always early in our diagnosis was like, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? She ended up being my friend because she was looking to help. Work, church, school, and then let people in. Let people be part of your tribe because it's hard to do, but if you let people in, it ends up working out usually pretty well. How's that? Boom. Okay.
So I just want to say before we go that, Marianne, I'm so incredibly proud of you. I'm going to cry. But Marianne has been talking about this family care conference for so many years now. And it's like, I've been on the verge of tears the last 2 days because I think it's amazing that it's come to life, and I think it's going to help so many people. So I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. Thanks for not thinking I was crazy.
And I love you.
I love you. So. All right. Thanks for being with us, everyone.